John, when we spoke on Friday, you were kind of a bit wary about playing Limerick on the Monday, coming so soon after the Rovers game, a few knocks and stuff like that. Were you relieved in a sense that the game was called off?
I suppose after Friday night, after the knocks and that, we were looking forward, even though we had knocks, we were looking forward to the game. But, I suppose in hindsight, we definitely would have ended up having to make probably at least 2, possibly 3 changes. So, and certainly the extra few days break and recovery will certainly help there. So, Colin is still in a bit of difficulty, maybe with Friday night, but other than that, everyone else is going to be okay. You know what I mean? And there's a possibility that Elding will be back in, and obviously Earl will come into the panel as well, which is great. So it was one of those ones where I suppose when you're winning, you'd like to have played it, but still at the same time, the fact that the game was off, a few days break is probably good as well.
Must be a tremendous buzz around the squad following the result on Friday, is there?
There is, and to be honest with you, there's been a fantastic buzz, since we've taken over, and the attitude of the guys has been fantastic. And it's even talking to Erla there, just we're saying he had a very hard running session on Sunday morning with some of the lads that hadn't been playing, and he was just saying that God, he couldn't believe that the work they put in, and that there wasn't a murmur out of anyone, So, but since we've got involved, myself, John, and obviously Phil and Billy, the lads have just put their head down and worked so bloody hard. And I think you've seen it in the performances that they've, there's a beautiful spirit in the team at the moment. And I know it's only early days, but I keep saying it's there seems to be a passion there, and I can't ask for any more other than that. Keep our feet on the ground and keep working hard. And if we do that, then we will certainly be in a better position than we were last year.
You spoke about the spirit and the passion. Is there one slight worry that in the home games against the 2 big teams you played, you're picking up a lot of yellow cards, which is bound to accumulate in the long run?
Well, I tell you what the big problem is. To be honest, in my opinion, is that there's a lot of card acting going on at the moment, and there's a responsibility on all the managers in the league to send out their teams in the proper way, and not to have card acting. And we're an honest, very hard-working team, not a malicious player amongst us. Maybe unfortunately I might say that's from a manager's point of view, but that is the case. Okay, and I keep highlighting the point that 5 yellow cards in the first match of the season, the opposition physio never came onto the pitch. Okay, and we had 2 yellow cards very quick on Friday night. And again, the physio never came onto the pitch. So obviously there's, I don't know whether people are being influenced or what, but definitely in Ireland and in England, the one thing about the game here is, while the game has changed and you can't tackle from behind and stuff like that anymore, still we like teams to have passionate, who still work hard, have good honest endeavour, and I think that's exactly what we've been at. But I certainly wouldn't want any of my players falling over, trying to con the referee. The players know that. I've told them that. And I think there's a duty on everyone within the league and all the managers to make sure that the teams go out that way. And are we suffering a bit from it? I don't know. In the away games, we've had hardly any booking. But it does seem to, when people are walking into the cross, maybe the big crowds, are some of the officials being intimidated? I don't know. But certainly it is ironic that 2 of the bigger names we've played so far, that we've ended up picking up bookings, and I think out of the 8 cards, I think you'd say that 6 were ridiculous. We played Derry in a very bad pitch. They have a good, tough, honest manager. Both teams on a bad pitch had a right tough battle against each other. There wasn't a foul stroke pulled. It was hardly a card in the match. So I don't know, but I am concerned that it certainly is something that we're looking at, because we certainly don't want a perception going out there about us when people can quite clearly see that we're a hard working, honest, decent team, and there's no malicious stroke within the team.
You've brought Ireland to the club. Is there any other areas of the squad that you would like to strengthen?
Everywhere. No, look, the situation is that I have to be very, very careful with the type of player we bring into the club, and sometimes at the very start, after being appointed, you take a gamble with certain guys, and we've been a little bit unfortunate because Michael unfortunately got injured and he'd been doing quite well. Anthony got injured and he'd done well in the first game of the season, so that was a bit unfortunate. But it's crucial that the players we bring into the club, they have to be of the personality and I suppose the willingness and the makeup of the type of players that we have, because we have a really, really strong local side with tremendous honesty, tremendous ability, tremendous passion, and it's crucial that when we bring in a player, he has to fit into that. And I suppose really that was one of the key reasons we brought Earl in. One, because obviously Danny had retired. It was an area, the left-hand side of the pitch is an area that we were trying to strengthen up anyway. Earl has won 1 league, 3 cups, played a couple of 100 games for Sligo. He's been in the league a long time. But outside of that, it was his makeup, in that his attitude, his off the field. All the reports I got about him were top class. And you look and see, is he the type of guy that if he comes into our squad, will he gel in? Will he mix in with the guys we have? Has he the similar personality to the people that we have in the squad? And I believe he has all those, and that's why I think it'd be a big success for us. And I feel that even already, even after the first days, 2 days in, straight away he can see himself. He's just mixed in, because we're a lovely bunch of people down here, lovely squad, and he's mixed in. So we don't need any cockiness. We don't need any fellas thinking they're bigger than anyone else. We need guys who just want to keep their feet in the ground, work as hard as they can, and I just feel that that's where he'll be a great addition to us. And is there other players we're out there looking for? To be honest with you, what we're really looking for is get our injured players back. But at the same time, you're always looking to see, is there someone that can improve your squad? Obviously our budget is maxed out, but if the crowds kept going, you never know when the mid-season break comes. And I suppose the one thing is that strength and depth isn't great for us at the moment, so to bring in an experienced guy like Erlene, who's done so much, that can literally come from straight into our team, as opposed to being a guy just sitting on the bench every week, that's a big bonus. So we're always looking, but at the same time there's no major panic. The real thing is the lads are doing brilliantly, attitude's fantastic, and it's just trying to get our injured fellas back. And thankfully there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel with a few of the injuries, so hopefully things will clear up within the next 2 weeks.
John, looking into the Sligo match on Friday, they've made a very poor start, but I presume that wouldn't really camouflage anything. There'll be still one of the bigger clubs to come down here this year.
Big time, and look at Sligo's record. I said they won the league for the first time in 30 years, which was a unique achievement for them. They went to 3 cup finals, winning the cup, fantastic achievement, So I suppose Sligo are probably a symptom of, they were non-existent for years, get a bit of success, get more success. I know everyone wants to know, they have a bad start, what's gone wrong, or why aren't they doing this? And sometimes you have to have a reality check. Like the Sligo people have been absolute fantastic soccer people. I know them well, know a lot about the area. And but at the same time, the reality check is they've won more in the last 4 years than they've ever won in their history. So, and I went up there last night to watch, and the criticism was incredible. But it just shows you that they're and I suppose the other side to that is that they've ended up probably playing, they were away to Bray, a game that they probably would have been expected to win. It was the conditions on the night were horrendous, and they lost 1-0 last night against Drogheda. They probably would have expected to win, even though Drogheda were second in the table, and they possibly deserved it. So, You know, you look at Shamrock Rovers last week, everyone said that Shamrock Rovers played them off the park. When I watched the DVD on it, I saw Sligo missing 4 open goals. So Sligo were a very dangerous side, have still top quality players, and but it's just maybe one of those ones that after winning for a couple of years, you know, Barraclough has made a few changes, so he's obviously tried to bring a few new players. He brought in Maguire, brought a few in at the back, so and he's probably trying to get his, you know, he brought O'Connor in from Drogheda, so he's probably trying to get his team to go again. But they're going to have a huge say this year, and they're still going to be a team that will cause huge problems. Whether they're good enough to be consistent to win a league is another matter, but certainly they're still going to be in the top 3 or 4 of the table.
Has he ever been able to give you some insight info?
Well, you know, I suppose you obviously look at the opposition, Dennis, and you have to look at their strengths and weaknesses and what you think. But at the end of the day, if your own players don't perform, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So, you know, we do a lot of work looking at teams and stuff like that. But at the same time, you still have to focus on your own strengths, how you're going to play. And the bottom line is, like, if we have 4 or 5 players that don't perform Friday night, you're not going to get a result. But if we all can perform to the level that we have done in the last month, then no matter what Sligo throw at us, I believe we're good enough to win. Yeah. But you know, so we've looked at a few different things, and you know, obviously I'd have a bit of information. Obviously, Anthony would have a bit of information, but you know, I saw them myself last night. I saw them on TV as well, and you know, I still feel that, you know, that it really is crucial for us to make sure that we impose our own game. Yeah. You know, so.
And is it nearly more important now to make sure that players stay focused now that you are top of the league, that they can't just kind of think, you know, is this going to happen automatically now?
But sure doesn't. You know, it's if it happened automatically, we'll say Wigan wouldn't beat Man City out of the cup, and you get all these results. That's the beauty of sport, and I think our lads know that. And look at the comparison is that, you know, while people came last Friday night and said, God, it was a fantastic performance against Rovers, which it was, and the atmosphere was electric. It was, you know, brilliant, and I tell the players, soak up the atmosphere, because there's nothing better than, you know, if you can walk out every week in front of 5,000-6,000 people, that's fantastic. But at the same time, you know, we were at Athlone the week before, and after 42 minutes we were quite happy to go to half-time 0-0, because we were under pressure, and they'd played very well, and we hadn't played as well as we thought we could have. So, you know, it's I keep saying that sometimes, you know, Rovers in name is a big name, so sometimes it's easier to get for those games, but the same 3 points are still an offer when you play Sligo, when you play Drogheda, when you play UCD. Yeah. Same 3 points, so you still have to. So look at, we've done nothing. All we've done is we've started well, and it looks that the potential of the team is good, that we could go to bigger places, and that's what we're hoping. If fellas get carried away and whatever, we'll be nowhere. So that's why we can't afford to do that. So it's and we have to be careful too, because while a lot of the players are getting a lot of praise at the moment, you know, you're only one week away from bad praise. Yeah. If the performance goes against you. So of course it's a long way to go, and we just have to keep our feet in the ground. But thankfully I believe we have a nice level-headed bunch of guys, and we're hoping that we can keep them grounded. And if they can stay grounded, then you have massive opportunities.
You mentioned your support, John. 14,000 in 3 home games. They're playing their part as well, aren't they?
Huge. Look, we cannot survive unless we have crowds. What I'm trying to get here and the management is get the crowds that when I was winning in this club, when the Kevin Doyles were winning this club, get the lads that are there that haven't seen this, you know, particularly Buckley, Morrissey, Cavan, and Dunleavy. They haven't seen these crowds before, haven't played in front of them, to see that surely if you're a player and you're walking out in front of 1,600 people, or you're walking in Turner's Cross in front of 5,500, 6,000 people, where do you want to be? And like I said Friday, the Pats match was gone. They experienced a huge crowd. They experienced the crowd against Bray, which wasn't as big, but was still very vocal. So I said, expect tonight it's going to be phenomenal. So I says, there's no nervousness, there's no surprises. You know what you're going to walk out to. So just take the crowd on board and make sure that they drive us on. And I think, as you all saw, like the atmosphere at 7 o'clock was fantastic. The warm up before the game, and obviously when the game kicked off, it just took off. And I'll be honest with you, sitting on the sideline, I must say it was, as I said, it was like the old days, a great night when the atmosphere was fantastic. And if we can create that as much as possible throughout the season, if the players can deliver it, then you know you're going to be somewhere in the mix then.
You used the word after the game on Friday night. You said the team were relaxed more than they were before the Pats game.
Yeah, but I think that to be fair, even for myself and whatever, the Pats game was so long coming. You know, new manager there. You know, I suppose there was a lot of hope. There was signings made. There was a lot of excitement around the city and county. And I suppose the Pats match was just, you know, we knew about the Pats match 3 months in advance, and we were all waiting for countdown. So I think, you know, and plus the fact a lot of players had never played in front of that crowd. Our own players hadn't played. All right, we know that Colin Healy had, and Nulls had, and Liam Carney and Dan maybe, but all the rest of them hadn't. Like if you look at Johnny Dunleavy's in his 3rd season with us, biggest crowd I think he's played in front of is about 3,000. You know, so going out to play in front of double that crowd. So you know, I felt against Pats that night for 20 minutes the start of the match we were a bit nervous, whereas last Friday night we hit the ground running, and I thought we did brilliantly.
It must please you to see the young players doing so well, you know, in front of the big crowds.
Yeah, well, they look at the one thing we have, and I suppose Cork's history has always been, we've been at our best and our strongest when we've had a core of local players. You always have to have a situation where you have a number of outside players coming in, but you have to, when you have your panel of 20, 22 players, whatever, you look back in the history of Cork, you still have to have 85% of your players have to be from Cork, have to have that identity, that parochialism which we have. And I suppose, like you look at the young players come through, we've loads of young players coming through, you know what I mean? Now, while we've loads of fellas come through with talent, can they step up to the mark is a different thing. And I keep saying that about the under-19s. We've lots of very good under-19s coming through, you know, but whether can they step up to the mark? And I suppose the situation is you don't walk out of the under-19 team and walk into the first team in Premier. The gap is massive. Sometimes people don't understand that, but it is massive. That's just the way it is. And you look at the way we have Gary Buckley for the first time starting every match. He's never done that, right? Because he's been trying to learn and develop the game. John Kavanagh, again, coming into the panel, breaking through. Obviously, Garrod came back from Blackburn. Tremendous guy. Has been in the league a couple of years. Probably last year was his first full solid season. This year, he's settled down to be the good, great player that we all know he can be. Okay, so it's Lennon, who hasn't played with us at all. Okay, so because of these guys, people think that when they're 17, they can go straight into the first team. They can't. The fitness levels are incredible. The concentration on the mind is incredible. The pressure is incredible, and you have to be able to deal with that. And the way you deal with it is you deal with it after a period of time when you see it and you develop. And all of a sudden, we look at Lennon. Everyone now all of a sudden is saying, "God, he should be in the Irish under-21 side and whatever." 6 weeks ago, no one even thought he'd be in the first team for Cork City. So it just shows you. But we have loads of talent, we have loads of fellas coming through, but it's we need young, hungry players coming through with the right attitude. And then if they have that, the opportunity for them then is massive.
You've spoken about the young players there, and rightly so. But what about the old man of 31 who's sampling the HSC League for the first time? He's been absolutely phenomenal.
He is. And he's a fantastic guy, and I've had him at, as you all know, at amateur level for a long time. I saw his ability. However, you know, for people to think that there aren't players in junior football or senior league football that aren't good enough for League of Ireland, that is wrong. and we've had a lot of people who have never even looked in those leagues, and there are always one or two gems, as I always see, out there to be got. Likewise, at the same time, there are juniors and senior league players out there who think they're as good as League of Ireland players, which is total rubbish as well. You know what I mean? Because the gap is massive. You know what I mean? But it's wrong to say that there are always one or two guys. And Mark was always one of those guys I felt could go to a higher level. And if he was in the surroundings with better players, I felt he could play to that level. Now, we've had a lot of fellas in pre-season as well, who we thought might have stepped up, and it didn't work out for them, or it hasn't, to come back to their own clubs because they haven't realised the intensity, the demands. But thankfully to Mark, he has, and the fact that he's gone full time with us has certainly made the difference. So, look, I suppose people around the country are beginning to find out who he is. So maybe the novelty is gone because people are looking at him, watching him. But I have no fears for him because he's a fantastic attitude and great work rate. And I suppose, look at, if someone told you 6 weeks ago that out of 4 strikers, 3 of them would be on the bench and you'd be relying on Mark O'Sullivan, you know what I mean? Like, he was your fourth choice striker. He was never my fourth choice striker. I always felt he was going to have a big part to play with us. But I suppose he ended up coming into the fray probably and playing a lot more than we all thought. But thankfully, you know, he scored against that loan, scored last week, and I suppose there's no doubt probably last Friday was probably his best game to date.
Irla?
Switch over, is it?
For sound reasons.
That's fine.
We'll start, I suppose, by telling us how you came to be at Cork City and what John said to you to convince you to...
Yeah, so a quick explanation is that contract was finished with Sligo, and I kind of decided then, I go, do you know something, I'm going to do something new this year. So I decided to look into playing in America, and I kind of had my mind made up then. I had a few contract offers in November, but I decided, do you know something, I'm going to give this a go, because one of my good friends, Richie Ryan, is out in Ottawa at the moment. So I said, look, give it a go. But I went over in and quickly realised it wasn't for me, as in like people might give out about League of Ireland, but we're a million miles ahead of what was going on over there. Well, the league I was in anyways, just didn't think the standard, and I didn't think I'd be happy over there knowing that I could play it to a higher level. And I suppose just before I went over to America, I had been in touch with John, and you know, I was kind of, when that happened, I was going, oh, you know, what'll I do now, as in, will I just play in the league? Or I said, no, do something, I take the risk, take the chance. But when I was over in America, I was there for about 10 days, realised it wasn't for me, and I kind of got back in touch with John then. I said, if you're still interested, and I was delighted then to hear that he still was interested, you know. So it just took a few days, because I suppose maybe a week or two, because they were doing so well and just sussing out budgets and stuff like that. Like, but then I was delighted to sign there before the Shamrock Rovers game. Got it done. Hopefully it was meant to be before the Limerick game before 4 o'clock, so I rushed down to the horse and jockey to meet halfway, but delighted then just to sign and get, I suppose I've not been used to watching results coming in and not been playing, like, but I did kind of think that if I was going to sign for a club in Ireland, it has to be the right decision and something, you know, that I can see possibly being here for longer than the year, like, you know.
How odd is it going to be facing Sligo on Friday?
I don't know, no real big deal. I've a lot of friends still there, like, but you'll quickly realise the football, you just move on. You know, I was lucky to have 4 good years in Sligo. Before that, I had probably 4 years in Galway as well, but like, Sligo and Galway are rivals, but then you're playing each other, so there's no big deal, as in, you know, I'd like to see Sligo doing well at the end of the day as well, like, but, you know, I'm a Cork City player now, so it makes no difference.
You're coming into a team that's top of the table, 4 wins out of 5. How hard is it going to be for you to break into a winning team?
Yeah, like, that's even now, John, as even said, like, I'm not coming down with any ego or anything like that. Like, even I getting embarrassed listing off, you know, what we've won, like, it makes no difference really. Like, I'm coming here to be part of the squad, and like, I want to play every week, and hopefully, but if I'm not playing every week, then I want to be pushing other boys, like, you know. So I do think I've been watching results and keeping clean sheets, so I know it won't be easy to break in, but, you know, I just want to be as fit as I can and then play as many games as possible. And so it's great to see, as the time I'm coming as well, everything seems to be on a high, like, you know. So although I don't want to be sitting on the bench or anything like that, I've come with no ego either, like.
How important do you think it is here that you're coming, like, having won a few medals with Sligo, like, that you can bring that experience to the other players even? Maybe.
I'm in a kind of I suppose a different part of my career, like, you know, from, I suppose, when I was Sligo from 23 to 27, I'm still counted, so as a younger lad nearly, like, and now even hear people saying, "Oh, experience and all." That's the first time it's really been said to me, like, you know, and one of these things, like. But when I walked into the dressing room last day, sure, I saw Dan Murray, you know, Colin Healy, Liam Carney, like, so there's a Billy Dennehy as well. I think he's like, I don't know, he's won everything with Shamrock Rovers, you know. So there's that bunch of players, and then you can hear John talk about the youth players, like. So any dressing room I've been involved in, when you have the two of them going together, like, it's usually an ingredient for success. And the fact that the type of lads that I've met so far, they really want to work hard, like. And it's in this league, if you can work hard, if you can kind of become friends with people like that, become friends in the team, have a good group and a bit of ability with that, and you can go far. Like, of what I've seen anyways, that's how we started off in Sligo in 2010. It was just whatever way, I think it was by luck or whatever, there was just a group of players that wanted to work hard. We all hung around with each other, gone really well, and then there was just a little bit of class with like Joseph Ado, Richie Ryan and stuff like that, like, and that's how it started, and then we had 4 good years from that.
And you think that could be a template for City then?
Well, I think look, there's no point getting carried away either, like, it's a great start, like, but even if you can just start off with that, with the progress, and that's built into them already with the players signed, the hard work, they're really nice people as well so far, and then you already have the ability. So with crowds on top of that, you know, you can build, like, you don't be getting carried away, because when I was with Sligo last year, we won the first 8 games of the season, and it meant nothing at the end, like. So just take every game as it comes.
Did you speak to Anthony and Matt before you came down? Kind of an insight? No,
I kind of before I went to America, I'd been speaking to Anthony, whatever that. But before I signed, I didn't talk to really anyone, because I thought it was going to be a decision I make myself. So I think Anthony was surprised to even see me when I came down, because at that point you'll find out that, you know, you have to make the decision yourself. I talked to my family, of course, with that, but you have to make the decision yourself. It makes no real odds. Like, I'd be good friends with Anthony and Matt, but it made no difference if they said come down, don't come down, whatever, because it was a decision I had to make myself.
From Tullamore?
I suppose I'll get this on the record, as in, yeah, I'm Tullamore, but the heart is in Galway, like, you know, so I'm between Galway and Tullamore, as in I went to school in Tullamore, yeah. But we would have always lived in Galway. Like, I think I'm similar to John there, I don't know exactly where I'm from, you know, but I spend an awful lot of time in Galway, like, you know, as in parents have a house down there, and so I've always said, you know, the head's in Tullamore but the heart's in Galway.
It's early days yet, but have you seen a difference in approach to management with Paul Cook, Barrett Clough, and now John Caulfield?
Yeah, well, it's...
Say the right thing here.
No, I say it even because I was speaking to, I suppose, John on the phone first, and, you know, he kept telling me he's a straight guy and all this, and to be honest, everything that he said has come true. He said it how it is, and there's nothing worse. A lot of managers out there these days are by the manual, you know, they want to tell you what you want to hear and stuff like that. There was no nonsense. He said, this is the way it is and stuff, and everything he's promised me has come true as well so far, like, you know, even like from the setup and everything like that. He told me, you know, the gym, you'll never see anything better than I think it's the Maradike or something like that, and it's top class, you know, you're not going to get any better like this, you know, the way you can talk nonsense to get you down here. There's been nothing said like that. He's said it the way it is, and I think it's a style I'm used to, that I like, you know, that's the way I like to work with. Lovely, thanks very much.